many other topics. One of my favorite follows on social media. He does such a great job, and it's always a pleasure having him on the show to talk about. Ryan Shead joining us right now on the program. Mr. Shead, it is a pleasure to have you. And
It's good.
thank you so much for being here. How are you?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you doing?
Doing good, Ryan.
Well, first off, before we go, the last name is Shead.
Did I pronounce your name wrong?
Dude,
Shed.
well, first off,
Shead.
people have been doing it since I was in third grade, so don't feel bad.
I'll try.
That's how most people say it. So,
my apologies.
No
Mr.
worries.
Shed.
No worries.
Thank
we
you
don't. And by the way, we don't get a chance to talk in the green room or anything before this, so it's just exactly. Yeah.
This is true. Well, Ryan, sorry about that. I appreciate you being
all
here.
Good.
I think we both agree. I want to start with the fires in California.
Yeah.
The misinformation, the attacks on Gavin Newsome and the mayor, when these people, apparently they're all firefighter experts now. They're experts on water and how to put out fires. What do you make of all the misinformation and so many MAGA Republicans that are trying to score political points here?
Well, I really like what you said leading into this, that it's just become this big political hot potato, and it shouldn't be. And even I've, put some comments out there that you're like, okay, I need to back off of that. People are losing everything. There's been lives lost, I think. I believe that's true. So, of course, we need to keep in mind those things. But it's from the left, my side, it's becoming more and more difficult to have any type of empathy or compassion towards these people. Because as you said, when other times, when other communities need that compassion, that empathy, we don't see it from them. So it becomes more difficult for us as good people to still do that. And I know the argument is, well, we need to go high. I think that time is come and gone. And I think we have enough people on the left covering the high ground. And I think I'm going to stay down here and lead the charge down a little lower, and we'll see what happens. But as you said, I think the most important comment that needs to be made is nobody wants to see this. This is devastating, and I definitely don't want to be part of playing the politics. Yeah. But as you said, and getting back to the question, we can't ignore the misinformation coming out. One of the biggest ones I saw, and I posted on my Twitter, was a guy saying, "Oh, my brother's a firefighter up in Oregon, and he just told me that they're stopping 70 fire trucks because of emissions from going into California," which, of course, the organization that he claimed his brother worked for came out and totally debunked it, which I shared. And so it's just like, you guys you have no shame. You will use anything as long as you can twist it for some type of benefit for either Donald Trump or your MAGA agenda.
I agree. And, Ryan, you had reposted something on your Twitter page of the donations from some of these bigger companies like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Apple, and others that have donated in upwards of $1 million or more to Donald Trump.
Yes.
And no money. They haven't donated so far any money to help the victims in LA. And then you just put up Taylor Swift, $0 to Donald Trump, $10 million to the LA fires. And by the way, there's a lot of other celebrities and big names that are doing the exact same thing. And kudos to them. And then you have James Woods. Speaking of celebrities, now I've always said James Wood is a despicable human being, but I don't wish any of this stuff upon him, right? And when I saw that interview on CNN that he did, I played it and I said, listen, I feel for the man, I feel for his family. And then it turns out his home didn't even burn down.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, all he's doing all day is tweeting out stuff about Gavin Newsome and the mayor of LA. His home didn't even burn down. He lied on CNN.
Yeah. And a big shout out to James Woods, who blocked me a year ago for calling him out for something else.
Blocked me too, Ryan. We have that in common.
We have that. It seems to be common around us liberals. But no, so I can't sit here and be a hypocrite. When I said that I posted a few things that I probably should back off of, that was one of them. Right. Again, and I said something along the lines of, I've seen so many hateful things come from that man through his social media that I don't have any compassion for him. And as you said, then to find out that he was clutching his pearls and crying when he didn't even know for sure if his house was gone or not. So here you are, where so many people were focused on James Woods. Well, there's actually other people and other celebrities losing their houses, and
sure,
he didn't even lose his. So again, it's just, these people are willing to grab onto anything. And if they think that he can use it to, raise money get attention, whatever it is that they need to feed their ego with, they will use it.
And I think of other celebrities out there, and there's plenty of them, but just to name one, Angelina Jolie, who's not only helping people and raising money to help the victims, but she's put literally dozens and dozens of displaced people in her home, strangers, people she doesn't even know, which I think is so admirable. And I get so angry, Ryan, when I see the Elon Musks of the world. Now, I know he's doing some things to help people, but this is a guy who donated literally $250 million to Donald Trump's campaign. How much money has he donated to helping the victims? This is the richest man in the world. And I see all these other people on the far right all day long, popular Twitter accounts from conservatives, whether it be a Jack Posobiec or others, all they do all day long is attack Gavin Newsom to try to get engagements on Twitter and make money for themselves. And I just think it's so despicable.
It is, I think with all of us on social media, content creators, whatever you want to call us, we're trying to make money. There's a way to do it. There's a right way to do it. Everybody's time is worth something. Yeah. That said, we know why Elon Musk purchased this social media platform. A lot of people pointed it out at the time. Unfortunately, we were not only correct, but it was probably worse than we thought. And I'm glad you brought that up, because we were talking about this on our podcast, Hold the Mic, this past week, was the $250 million. That's how much money we could track. And what I mean by that is, and the shout out to Ian for bringing this up, was there were also funneling money to right-wing extreme accounts through Twitter X, and I was getting paid. So now the interesting part was some of these big accounts posted how much they were making, and I would look at their following and I'd be like, my following's almost as big as yours, but you're bringing in $10,000 a month and I'm bringing in $300 a month. Why is that? So, and then he switched how we got paid as soon as the election was over. So I went from making $300-$400 a month on there to making $30-$40 a month. And then he upped the fee to pay for the blue check mark to $30. So now I'm not even getting paid enough to cover the blue check mark. So I just canceled it. But what he would do was he would funnel the money through there, and these people would get $10, $20, $30, $40,000 put in their account every 15 days. And they were posting it. They were oh, look at this. And it's like, oh, you guys are getting a lot of money to spread the propaganda you're spreading, and to pay for the bot farms that are pushing this agenda. It's really insane when you sit down, and because I'm involved in some of the little inner workings, it's just really eye-opening as to how blatant this misinformation press tour really was.
Incredible, because you have a very large following on social media, and you're not the first person to tell me this. People that have 20 times the following that I have, even in the millions, are making peanuts on X. Peanuts. Yep. You go on YouTube and other platforms, they're making much more money. Let's be real about this. Elon Musk is stealing money from people. Even 100%. Some people on the right that have large platforms are making peanuts. So I find that very, very interesting. But this is who Elon Musk is. I wanted to switch topics. If you're just joining us, Ryan Shead joining us on the show. I pronounced your last name right. Hopefully that's
appreciate you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, all good, bro.
I wanted to talk to you about John Fetterman, because we might have the same opinion here. I don't know what your opinion is on this, but there are reports now that, as you know, that Fetterman is going to be meeting with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. I got to be honest with you. I don't have a problem with this. Really? I really don't. The reality of the situation, this is my take, and I want to get yours.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Donald Trump's going to be the president. He's going to be here for 4 years. Doesn't mean you have to kiss the ring. I don't think Fetterman is going to do that. At least I hope not. To have a conversation with him, to me, is better for the country than not having a conversation at all. Now, listen, I don't think he's going to do what like a Kevin McCarthy did or some of these MAGA Republicans. I think Fetterman is there for the same reason why he spoke to Stefanik is, listen, I represent everybody in Pennsylvania, and I want to meet with people on the other side and have conversations. I personally don't have a problem with it. What is your take on it, Ryan?
I think if it was just by itself, I probably would be okay with it. And I think where you and I might disagree is the ring kissing part. I think him going down to Mar-a-Lago is the ring kissing.
Really? Okay.
Yes. I think you want to have a discussion with him? Cool. Have it up in Washington, D.C., where everybody else does business. And by the way, could you maybe put on a shirt and tie, maybe a coat when you meet with the president?
The fair criticism.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, it was like But that's not the only time he stepped out of pocket and made liberals go, what?
Yeah.
Like he
Why
literally
do you
has.
think he's doing this? Why do you think he's doing this then?
Well, I think you're on point. I think he lives in Pennsylvania. You know, it's a red area. You know, it's a red state, and even if it's purple, like you said, he's still got to play both sides of the fence. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. Like you said, at some point we're gonna have to put the swords down. Yeah,
Right.
I don't think it's right now. You know, I think the fight is we're still in the middle of it. But at some point, we are going to have to look at each other and say, okay, this is over. This isn't getting us anywhere. It's just driving us further down in debt, further down in holes, into more wars. Like, let's figure this out now. And I think that Fetterman's approach is how we get there. But right now, where we are, knowing that we just elected or we just certified an election for a felon and an adjudicated, we all know what, it's like that part to me is mind boggling. So
Can I ask you about that too?
yeah, please.
So the comment, which, adjudicated rapist is the comment that many people on the far right say is not true and it's wrong. And my explanation, and I know you've talked about this too, my explanation to it is this. As you know, he's a liable sexual abuser.
Yes.
The judge presiding in the case characterized it as rape.
Yes.
And I believe the only reason why George Stephanopoulos got sued, but the only reason why they paid it off, I believe, is so they could get an interview with Donald Trump. They got an interview with Donald Trump a couple days later. That is not a coincidence. So I believe they paid out this amount of money in part because they had some sort of agreement behind closed doors where they would get that next interview with him. That's what I think. Now, if he wants to sue everybody for calling him an adjudicated rapist, the judge characterized it as rape. He's a liable sexual abuser. And I think that's extremely factual.
Yeah. To somebody in the comments said, have I ever thought about wearing blue? I do have a blue. I just wore it the other day. So, but no, yeah, here's the thing. Everybody in my comments when I say, because I post it several times a day. By the way, go to my social media, everybody, especially on Twitter, Mr. Community Notes, Elon Musk, and see how many times I've been community noted for stating this exact fact. And since you said the word, I'm going to assume it's okay we say it. Donald Trump is a convicted felon. He is an adjudicated rapist. He is an accused P to the D to the O. He is also a prolific business fraud who has had to pay out for defrauding Americans. I can't tell you how many times. 25 million Trump University, $30,000 for the $3.1 million fraud scheme in 1992 at the casino with his father. Go look it up. Google me. Don't just listen to me. I'm not trying to start a cult. I just want you to be educated. So the fact of the matter is that this dude is going to take the White House. We all know what he is. And every 77 million person American out there that voted for Donald Trump knows that he is a felon, that he is a rapist, that he has been accused of raping a 13-year-old girl. And if you are willing to vote for that because of the economy, then we do not have a difference in political opinions. We have a difference in morals and principles.
I agree with everything you just said, Ryan. And I think Nancy Mace, and you could tell me if you disagree, it's a perfect example of where the MAGA Republican Party is at, right? I mean, she claims that she was raped when she was 16 years old.
Yeah.
There are over 25 women that have claimed, allegedly, that Donald Trump sexually abused them or raped them, including his ex-wife in court documents in a deposition.
Yes, sir.
So she doesn't want to believe those 25 plus women. She supports Donald Trump. And then if you bring that up, somehow you're shaming her. She's the one who tweets 1,000 times about how she's so proud about how one of her trans woman coworkers can't use the woman's restroom. She's so proud about that. She's campaigned off of it and sold shirts about that.
Yeah.
But then after like a school shooting or something, you're lucky if you get one tweet from her, thoughts and prayers.
Yep. It's never about protecting the children. It's always about political agenda with her. And I just want to give a shout out to my transgender family out there. You guys have given me the space to educate myself and become a better ally. And I hope that we can spread that in the coming years. It's very sickening for me I think because I've made friends with so many transgender folks over the last 4 or 5 years purposely, that it has become very personal for me. So it's like every time she comes out and says one of these things, I'm in the comment section every time telling her exactly what you just said.
Right.
Like this coming from the woman who just put a rapist and an accused, pedo in the White House. Like he's a felon. He's a criminal. He's a fraud. He's been a fraud for 30 years. This isn't anything new. We all know it. He's got court documents going back 30 years saying he's a fraud. And we just let him continue to do it. And we keep putting him in higher positions. Like this dude is literally the perfect example of failing up in the United States.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I agree with you. And like I said, this is where the Republican Party is at today. I think Nancy Mace is a perfect example of that. She was against
100%.
Donald Trump, but then when she needed Donald Trump to get into office, she needed his support. She kissed the ring, and that's where most of the Republican Party is at today. How much concern do you have? I mean, coming up here, we're going to have these hearings when it comes to Pete Hegseth, when it comes to Tulsi Gabbard, when it comes to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and others. How concerned are you that they are actually going to be put in these positions? I actually think Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is going to make it. I don't know about Pete Hegseth. Boy, I hope Tulsi Gabbard doesn't get in. I do believe she's a Russian asset. How concerned are you, Ryan, about these people that are so unqualified for these positions?
You know what's sad is as you were laying that out, Robert F. Kennedy will probably get in. Let's hope Hegseth doesn't. And oh my God, hopefully Tulsi. That's really the perfect rundown of what we're looking at. Most of us, it's like, we don't want Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Like the dude that's got a brainworm that long ago starved, is definitely not our guy. But unfortunately, we'll take him over the Tulsi Gabbard, who's on the no-fly terrorist watch list, for those of you who don't know.
That's very true, actually. A lot of people don't even realize what you just said. Yeah, you're right. She is. Yep. For a reason.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and she keeps asking, well, what's the reason? Like, they've told you a few times now. Like, you can keep asking, but they keep telling you, and you just don't want to believe it. Yep. Like, it's just insane to me that in 2019, 2020, when I really started doing this social media thing, that when we looked at Tulsi Gabbard, the things that were being said about her at the time, some of them seemed so outlandish that you're like, that can't be. Like, there's no way somebody makes it on the stage at a Democratic primary for president. And these things are accurate.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then you watch what happened, like right after that. And it was just like, oh, I guess we were wrong. And she is exactly who they said she was. Like, nobody runs from the Democratic Party as fast as she did and do as little as she was doing for fellow Democrats in the Democratic Party, and then literally flip over to the MAGA Trump Party and instantly start running ground game for extremist Republicans.
Yep.
Like, it was very clear that she was never really a Democrat. She never bought into the Democratic Party. So, and then you don't become an independent and say, I don't believe in either. You just go way over to the right and start saying, yeah, that guy over there, the rapist, the felon, that's my guy. Yeah. So who's paying you then?
That's a very good question. And this is Gabbard. And Gabbard, she has failed to call out Assad. In fact, she's defended Assad in some situations. I believe, like many, sadly, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, in the MAGA Republican Party, they don't want Ukraine to win. Trump wouldn't even answer that question on a debate stage, a presidential debate. Can you believe it? I mean, you have an evil, murderous dictator that invaded a country.
Yep.
And there's a portion of the Republicans who won't even say they want Ukraine to win because they don't. I mean, it's crazy. I wanted to ask you this because I think you have to deal with, probably multiply it by 10 of what I have to deal with, the trolls on social media, people that'll use the term soy boy and homophobic slurs and you're a pedophile.
Hourly, bro. Hourly.
Yeah. I get it all the time too. And I laugh at it and I ignore it, and I'm a much happier person because of it. But what do you make of it? Like, so many of these people, even people that call into this show every day, they're not able to have a conversation based on fact.
Right.
What do you make of this? I think 10 years ago, we were able to have these conversations with people. Now it's like so many people are so far gone.
First off, I think you're probably a lot happier than I am because I don't ignore as much as you do.
I don't always.
I know, but I bite a lot of low hanging fruit. No, that's a really good point. And I think I have personal conversations along those lines a lot because I still have Republicans in my life. They're just not Trumpers. I don't, like I said, we can debate politics all day. Like, we can debate policy. We can debate where our money should be going. We can debate, the deficit. I have no education. let's debate those things, but let's have honest, good faith conversations about it. Let's not keep playing politics with it and get nothing done, which is what's been going on for at least 15 years.
Yeah.
And in terms of these conversations, again, you know, as you said earlier in the program, Donald Trump is going to be president, whether we like it or not. We can keep holding on to these hopes that something is going to come out to change the election, to show that he didn't get the 77.8 million votes that he did. If that happens, great. But if I really don't think it's going to. So I think, as you said, we have to just accept the fact that this is going to be the guy for the next 4 years. And we're going to have to either be ready to work with him in some way, shape, or form to get something done for the American people, or we're going to have to be ready to fight to stop his agenda cold in its tracks. Yeah. But we need to grasp that reality, and we need to grasp it soon. These good faith conversations that everybody wants to get to, we're not going to get to them. We're not going to get back to them as we used to be able to until, as you said, we can find reasonable people willing to have good faith conversations using facts and data. That's really it. And the issue is when 77.8 million people voted with their emotions and misinformation instead of intelligence and knowledge.
Very well said. Very difficult to have those conversations with certain people that believe fires are started by Jewish space lasers. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ryan, you're the best, my friend. I love following you on social media. Whether you have a blue check mark or not, I don't care. You're a great follow. Keep up the great work, my friend. Always appreciate it. I got to do your podcast one of these days, my friend. But
you're always welcome on Hold the Mic, brother. Anytime.
Love to do it. Ryan Shead, appreciate your time, my friend. Keep up the great work, and
Thanks,
we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Same.
That's Ryan Shead, everybody. Great follow on social media. He does a wonderful job in calling out the far right and hypocrisy. To an extent, he does what I do every day, and I really appreciate him, and I appreciate him taking the time to join us. So I want to start